but the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Interesting. This is kind of unusual that these pilots saw different things, and that is sort of, I guess, adding to the mystery of all this.
Yeah, not even the pilots apparently were really able to identify what they saw. And just to take you back for a sec, on Thursday, the U.S. defense officials sent F-35 fighter jets up to try to figure out what this object was that was flying around near Alaska. Those pilots, we have learned, have given very conflicting accounts of what they actually experienced, with some pilots saying that the object interfered with the plane's sensors, other pilots saying that they didn't really experience that, other pilots saying that when they looked at the object, they could identify no identifiable propulsion system, and they did not know how it was actually staying in the air, cruising at that altitude of about 40,000 feet.
Oh, what is that? This is a telescope, and I don't know what this looks like. Bacteria or something.
That's so gross.
Oh wow, you got it. I don't know, y'all. This is kind of creepy.
Can I get what?
Very creepy.
Recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, they were talking about a 7-mile wide object that's heading straight towards Earth at a speed of 130,000 miles per hour. And some scientists are saying that this is not a natural object. And did you catch what I said? It's coming straight towards Earth.
You hear about that object that's hurtling towards Earth at like 130,000 miles an hour?
No, that might solve all our problems.
Some intergalactic object that's hurt. There's this guy, Avi Loeb. He's a professor at Harvard that believes it might be an alien probe.
Wow.
And he was talking about the odds of this thing being in the trajectory that it is, entering into our solar system in a direct path with Earth. The odds are extremely low. And at the place where it's doing it, it's when the Earth is the opposite side of the sun, so it's coming from behind the sun. And it's so it makes it difficult to detect. And that this object is in a direct line to come to Earth in 2027.
Do they have a trajectory of where it's going to land?
I don't think they totally know that yet. I think they're trying to calculate whether or not it's actually going to hit Earth or come near Earth or pass by Earth or what it, what it is.
Like why do they think it's an alien satellite or whatever?
Well, there's this guy, Avi Loeb, this professor that I'm discussing. He also had an analysis of another object that passed by Earth a few years back that they named, and they said that this thing had a very bizarre metallic sort of a look to it that he did not think, based on the shape of it and the way it was traveling, that it was natural.
You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated, it's been pretty clear, and it's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth. Ultimately, they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth. But why they want you to know that truth now? Hope I'm wrong, but it's terrifying. Think about it. Maybe it's good to get ahead of it. Call it out now before they do it. I'll be called crazy. That's okay.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
The notorious globalist Henry Kissinger let the cat out of the bag about the plan in the late 70s. Kissinger, who is Klaus Schwab's mentor, explained in clear terms how the globalists will convince Americans to accept the New World Order. He wrote, "Today Americans would be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. It is then that all the peoples of the world will pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil. The one thing every man fears is the unknown. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by their world government." Here is where it gets really interesting. In his 1994 book Project Bluebeam, investigative journalist Serge Monast didn't speculate, he exposed. He laid out the exact plan that NASA, the United Nations, and other global agencies have been working on in secret since 1983.
Project Bluebeam. I don't know if too many of you have heard of Project Bluebeam before, but it was a experimental program that they was going to try to use holograms in the sky using satellites, and they was going to make it look like Allah was appearing, I guess, to the Middle East in hopes that it would make them stop their war. And I don't know, it was stupid. Like, it was like they really wanted to do this, and I guess the project itself was denied. They pretty much just told them no. But these satellites still they're already there in the sky. Anytime that you hear about something that they want to actually finally make noticeable, they want to make it sound like, hey, we want to do this, they already done it. They've already been doing it, and now they're just trying to make it normal. They're trying to make it to the public to where see what the public's reaction would be to it. So the use of the hologram projectors in the sky could actually produce some really, really trippy, bizarre images. Okay, now I'm going to show you some clips here, and you'll see what I am talking about. Let's see if I can find one. This one was the most recent one, and it was the city in the sky, and this was reported in China, I believe. Not 100% sure if that's where it was, but take a look at it and see what you think.
So I don't know if you guys saw this over the weekend, but there was hundreds of people reporting they saw a floating city in the skies above China. It was on Chinese news stations, and there's even a clip of it. And it's been explained away as an optical illusion in the comments sections of these YouTube videos that in China the scientists have explained it, and it has to do with the way that cold, dense air at the surface bends light reflected from a distant object, otherwise known as a fata morgana. Looks something like this. Although, in my opinion, this video, it looks a little bit high off the ground for that to be the case, but that's what they're claiming. But there have been other sightings of these cities appearing in the sky, It cannot be so easily explained away. And I don't know if you guys remember back in 2012 when an entire African village saw what appeared to be a city floating in a cloud over their village. And the way they described it was beautiful tall buildings inside of it with tarred roads and cars. It was like a flying city, and from it I could hear the sound of machines making noise just as you would hear at a Shaka cement factory. Obviously that wasn't a reflection of their city because they don't have tall buildings, they don't have tarred roads, so either all of these people were on crack and they hallucinated this, or somebody's playing with their toys over an area where they know people aren't going to have cell phones and whip out their iPhone and be able to film it. And I know some people have said it, and it was the first thing I thought of too, Project Bluebeam. There are people that claim that Bluebeam was never really an actual thing the government ever considered, that it was entirely made up. And I just want to point out to you that it's not. I actually came across this article in unrelated research, and it turns out they're talking basically about Bluebeam in here, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's an article from the Washington Post from 1999 called "When Seeing and Hearing Isn't Believing." And the different things they came up with, get to this part where it says, Allah on the holodeck. It talks about all these psyops that the Pentagon was planning against the Iraqis after the invasion of Kuwait in 1990, and one of the things they came up with was, what if the U.S. projected a holographic image of Allah floating over Baghdad, urging the Iraqi people and army to rise up against Saddam? A senior Air Force officer asked in 1990. According to a military physicist who was given the task of looking into this idea, the feasibility had been established of projecting large three-dimensional objects that appear to float in the air. But could they do it over Iraq? And it says that they calculated that projecting such a hologram over Baghdad several hundred feet would take a mere more than a mile squared in space, as well as huge projectors and power sources. And they weren't sure what Allah looked like. But then it goes on to say that the Gulf War hologram story might be dismissed were it not the case that Washington Post had learned a super secret program was established in 1994 to pursue the very technology for PSYOPs application. The holographic projector is described in a classified Air Force document as a system to project information power from space for special operations deception missions. So they were going to do it. They were looking into it. And that's back in 94. So in 90 they came up with the idea, started looking into it. In 94 they were pursuing it. Who knows what they actually have today? But they probably wouldn't test it here where every other person and their grandma has an iPhone. They're going to test it in places like in Africa, in some village where they're banking on the fact that the people aren't going to have iPhones. This game.
We're not sure what it is. Is it some sort of balloon that's lit? It's not moving. It's circular in nature.
See,
it looks solid.
What I think their main goal is now, since they can't do the Allah project, which they still might end up doing it anyways, is they want to trick people into thinking we're under some kind of a invasion or a fake rapture or a whole bunch of other things that are going to make it to where each country has their own version of what's going on. So, you know, the Middle East is going to see Allah, the Christians are going to see Jesus, Catholics are probably going to see Jesus, maybe, I don't know. They might make a fake state, I don't know. There's no telling what technology we really have now. If we actually have the projector technology that could come from the sky, they can make anything happen. And if a lot of people see that shit, they believe it. Seeing is believing to a lot of people. this is a perfect example of how blue beam can actually be used. This is daytime. Broad daytime. We got a Shrek-looking thing in the sky and some weird-looking craft like you would see in Star Wars. Flying around the weird Shrek-looking thing. I don't know what that thing actually is. I have no clue. Maybe it's the Death Star that's blown up. I don't know. But you see that? This is 2016, people. None of this stuff, this technology, is actually hard to believe anymore. All this is possible. It's already all broke down to a science. That's how possible it is. Don't be fooled by the technology that we're able to purchase and then what we actually really have. Don't be fooled by that.
Project Bluebeam is not a theory. It's a multi-phase psychological and technological operation designed to usher in a one-world government by staging a false apocalypse. The plan is clear and deliberate. Step 1, create a global panic by faking the alien invasion. Using advanced aircraft, holograms, and media manipulation, the elite will convince the public that Earth is under attack, city by city, continent by continent. Step 2, hijack the world's religions. Using satellites and embedded tech in modern electronics, the operation will project holographic images of religious figures into the sky, fulfilling prophecies from every major faith. People will believe the end times have come, but it's all fake. Every miracle, every vision, scripted and broadcast by machine. Once the world is gripped by fear, chaos, and spiritual confusion, the infrastructure of the old world collapses. And in its place, the new world order takes control. A single government, a single military, a single authority, ruling over a population too terrified to resist.